Okay, here's Pavir Velikonsky from the top. Almost at the same time and precisely on the very same day, there at last took place the meeting between Stepan Trofimovich and Varvara Petrovna, which she had long had in mind and had long since announced to her former friend, but for some reason kept putting off. It took place at Skvoreshniki. Varvara Petrovna arrived at her country house all a-bustle. It had finally been determined the day before that the forthcoming fete would be given at the house of the marshal's wife. But Varvara Petrovna, with her quick mind, saw at once that no one could prevent her after the fete from giving a separate fete of her own, this time at Skvoreshniki, and again inviting the whole town out. Then everyone could satisfy themselves as to whose house was better, and who knew better how to receive and how to give a ball with greater taste. Generally, it was hard to recognize her. She seemed transformed and changed from the former inaccessible, quote, high lady, end of quote, Stepan Trofimovich's expression, into a most ordinary, feather-brained society woman. However, it may only have seemed so. Having arrived at the empty house, she made the round of the rooms, accompanied by the faithful and ancient Alexei Yegorovitch and Fomushka, a man who had seen the world and was an expert in interior decoration. I like the difference there, the full names, Alexei Yegorovitch and Fomushka, and not a man who knew a lot of things, but a man who had seen the world. A man who had seen the world and was an expert in interior decoration. Councils and considerations began. What furniture to transfer from the townhouse, what objects, paintings, where to put them, how best to manage with the conservatory and the flowers, where to hang new draperies, where to set up the buffet, one buffet or two, and so on and so forth. I like too how he goes kind of into like stream of consciousness of them kind of talking back and forth about those things, and kind of gives you kind of quick images so that you get in the mindset of what's happening. And then, in the heat of the bustle, she suddenly decided to send the carriage for Stepan Trofimovich. The latter had long since been informed and was prepared and was every day expecting precisely such a sudden invitation. As he got into the carriage, he crossed himself. His fate was to be decided. He found his friend in the great hall, on a small settee in a niche, by a small marble table. I don't remember in the other translations, on a small settee in a niche. But maybe I just don't remember it. You tell me. By a small marble table with a pencil and paper in her hands. I thought he said pencil in hands in the other translations, but not with a pencil and paper in her hands. Fomushka was measuring the height of the galleries and windows, and Varvara Petrovna herself was writing down the numbers and making marginal notes. Without interrupting her work, she nodded her head in Stepan Trofimovich's direction, and when he muttered some greeting, hastily gave him her hand and pointed without looking to the place beside her. I sat and waited for about 5 minutes, repressing my heart, he told me later. The woman I saw was not the one I had known for 20 years. The fullest conviction that all was over gave me a strength that amazed even her. I swear she was surprised by my steadfastness in that final hour. I think I remember the word steadfastness from one of the other translations. Varvara Petrovna suddenly put her pencil down on the table and quickly turned to Stepan Trofimovich. Stepan Trofimovich, we must talk business. I'm sure you had prepared all your magnificent words and various little phrases, but it would be better if we got straight to business, right? He flinched. She was in too much of a hurry to set her tone. What would come next? Wait, keep still. Let me speak, then you can... Though I really don't know what you'd be able to say in reply, she went on in a quick patter. The 1,200 of your pension I regard as my sacred duty as long as you live. Or, why a sacred duty? Simply an agreement. That will be much more real, right? If you like, we can put it in writing. In case of my death, special arrangements have been made, but beyond that, you now get lodgings, servants, and your full keep from me. Translated into money, that makes 1,500 rubles, right? I will add another 300 rubles for emergencies. That makes it a full 3,000. Will that suffice for you for a year? Doesn't seem too little. In extreme emergencies, I'll add to it, however. So take the money, send me back my servants, and live on your own, wherever you like, in Petersburg, in Moscow, abroad, or here, only not with me. Understand? Not long ago, a different demand was conveyed to me by those same lips, just as urgently and as quickly, Stepan Trovimich said slowly and with sad distinctness. I resigned myself and danced like the little Cossack to please you. Now, stop, Stepan Trovimich, you are terribly verbose. You did not dance, but you came out to me in a new tie and shirt, wearing gloves, pomaded and perfumed. I assure you that you yourself would have liked very much to marry. It was written on your face, and believe me, the expression was a most inelegant one. If I did not remark upon it then and there, it was solely out of delicacy, but you wished to marry, despite the abominations you wrote privately about me and about your bride. Now it's not that at all. And what do you mean by a Cossack on some grave of yours? I don't understand the comparison. On the contrary, don't die, but live. Live as much as you can. I shall be very glad. In the almshouse? In the almshouse. One doesn't go to the almshouse with an income of 3,000. Ah, I remember, she grinned. Indeed, Peter Stepanovich once got to joking about the almshouse. Bah! That was indeed a special almshouse, which is worth considering. It's for the most respectable persons. There are colonels there. One general even wants to go there. If you got in there with all your money, you'd find peace, satisfaction, servants. You could occupy yourself with your studies and always get up a game of preference. Passons. Passons? Varvara Petrovna winced. But in that case, that's all. You've been informed. From now on, we live entirely separately. And that's all. All that's left of 20 years, our final farewell. You're terribly fond of exclaiming, Stepan Trofimovich. It's not at all the fashion nowadays. They talk crudely, but plainly. You and these 20 years of ours, 20 years of reciprocal self-love and nothing more. Your every letter to me was written not for me, but for posterity. You're a stylist, not a friend. And friendship is merely a glorified word. Essentially a mutual outpouring of slops. God, all in other people's words. Learned by rote. So they've already put their uniform on you too. I like how the other translation said livery instead of uniform. You two are in joy. You two are in the sun. Share, for what a mess of pottage have you sold them your freedom. I am not a parrot to repeat other people's words, Varvara Petrovna boiled up. Rest assured that I've stored up enough words of my own. What did you do for me in these 20 years? You denied me even the books which I ordered for you and which, if it weren't for the binder, would have been left uncut. What did you give me to read when I asked you, in the first years, to be my guide? Capfig, nothing but capfig. You were even jealous of my development, and took measures. And meanwhile, everyone laughs at you. I confess I've always regarded you as merely a critic. You are a literary critic, and that is all. When I announced on the way to Petersburg that I intended to publish a magazine and dedicate my whole life to it, you at once gave me an ironic look and suddenly became terribly haughty